Talk about your earnings. Because when it comes to money, no one goofs around. The agency will be very transparent and upfront in regards to your income. Depending on what you're booking for your clients, you will earn a commission based on the supplier or type of travel booked. These commission amounts will be listed in your supplier list. They are also exactly calculated on the checkout screen when you're finalizing a reservation. Let's pretend, for example, you make a hotel-only booking with Beds Online, one of the agency's supplier partners. The commission rate is 16% of the total amount. If it was a $20,000 booking, your total commission on that hotel reservation would be $3,200. From this $3,200, consultants receive 80% and the agency keeps 20%. Like I said, it's all very transparent. This 20% is how the travel agency continues to grow the company and provide you as many clients as you can service to propel your earnings. Commissions are paid every week on Friday for all receivables within the same week. This means if the supplier partner pays the agency on Monday, Wednesday, or even Friday by 12 p.m. PST, the agency will pay you out your commission that same Friday by 5 p.m. PST. The payments happen through direct deposit via QuickBooks Online ACH transfer, and it should sit right in your bank account within 1 to 2 days of issuing. As an independent contractor, the agency will not withhold any taxes. You receive all of your owed balance, and at the end of the year, that team will issue you a 1099 NEC form that you can provide to your accountant to complete your tax returns. You are able to always check the status of your earnings in your agency's portal to ensure you know exactly what you're waiting for. The team works hard to ensure your commission is paid on time and without any issues. Now go ahead and proceed to the next lesson where we'll dive into your next training video. Welcome back. As we're kicking off these lessons, let's remind you that you're protected as a travel consultant. I understand that much of this is new to you, and we all make small mistakes here and there. But don't worry. I'm about to ease your mind. All travel consultants are covered under the E&O insurance policy. E&O stands for Errors and Omissions Professional Liability Insurance. The purpose of the E&O is to protect you against big mistakes. Mistakes that can be very costly and create liability will likely not be an issue for you because of this insurance coverage. Not only are you protected with E&O insurance coverage, but there are procedures in place to ensure fraud prevention as well. All you need to do is reach out to the support team when a suspicious client transaction seems like it may be taking place, and they will give you a green light or a red light. If the team gives you a green light to proceed with the booking and it turns out to be fraud, they will cover 100% of the damages, and you will not be responsible for it. We will cover this further in detail in a future lesson. Again, this is just another testament to the commitment in protecting your interests and ensuring your success as a consultant. Please proceed to the last training lesson in this module before we kick it off with Module 2, where we'll begin to break down to specifics. Last but not least, let's conclude this module with preparation for the next one. As you finish up this last lesson, you will proceed to the Booking Process and Tools module. That training set will begin to teach you all of the tools that travel consultants use to successfully book their clients. The module after that will cover working with clients, where we'll train you to properly service, assist, and follow up with the clients that will be assigned to you by the agency. These interactions are paramount to ensuring the highest degree of quality of service. In the service industry, relationships are king, and we will discuss all of the intricacies in this section to prepare you for building these unbreakable bonds with your clients. As that last module comes to a close, we will have a final section that talks about your next steps in beginning to assist actual clients that your agency has waiting for you. Hi there, and welcome to Module 2, Booking, process, and tools. Now that you've completed the onboarding module, it's time to take what you've learned and put it into action. In this section, you'll be guided through the real-world process that travel consultants use to book trips, track client details, and receive their commission. In this first lesson, we're going to walk through the full booking process, step by step, from the moment a client is assigned to you, all the way through to finalizing their reservation and submitting it for commission payout. You'll also be introduced to the 5 main tools the agency provides its agents: the credit card authorization and purchase agreement, Sherpa, for destination-specific travel restrictions, the agency CRM, for client and commission tracking, the commission payout process, and VoIP phone systems for professional communication. Let's start with the big picture. So, let's say you begin assisting a client, one the agency assigned. The first thing a consultant does is connect with that client. They ask the right questions, they get the details. Where are they going? What's their budget? When do they want to travel? Who's going with them? Do they want luxury or simplicity? This conversation is all about building a relationship. Now, just a heads up, most clients won't book right away. And that's totally normal because they're spending thousands of dollars on vacation. The average time from first conversation to a finalized booking is usually 1 to 2 weeks. During that time, it's extremely important for agents to stay organized. That's where the CRM comes in, and we'll get into that more in a later lesson. Once the client's needs are clear, the consultant begins sourcing options using the agency's approved supplier list. These suppliers include major brands, cruise lines, airlines, hotels, package vacation platforms. Now, new consultants are advised not to request access to all of them at once. Why? Because each supplier has its own login, portal, and training. Instead, the recommendation is to start with 2 or 3 preferred partners, get familiar with their systems, and expand from there. The agency actually highlights which suppliers are preferred, and those are usually a great starting point. Once the client's ready to book, it's time for the most important step before making any reservations, and that's submitting the credit card authorization and purchase agreement. This document does a few key things. It gives the agent legal permission to charge the client's card through the supplier. It outlines the full booking details, including pricing, itinerary, and cancellation policies. And it protects the consultant from liability if things change unexpectedly, like weather, delays, or supplier cancellations. One form must be submitted for every credit card used. So, if the total booking is $18,000 and the client wants to split that across 3 credit cards, then 3 forms must be submitted, 1 for each card, with the correct authorization amount reflected on each. This form is critical, and we'll walk through how to fill it out properly in the next lesson. Once the signed form is returned, the consultant logs into the supplier portal, using the credentials the agency provided, and completes the reservation. You must enter all passenger details exactly as they appear on government-issued travel documents. Accuracy here is non-negotiable. Then apply the payment, finalize the reservation, and you'll receive a booking confirmation number. And that booking number, that leads directly to the next step. The agency uses a CRM, or Customer Relationship Management System, to track all bookings, all clients, and all commissions. Once the reservation is made, you must log the booking into the CRM. That includes the supplier name, total price, booking date, and projected commission, which is usually visible on the supplier's checkout screen. This step is what triggers the payout process once the supplier sends the commission to the agency. Here's how the payout works. After the client completes their trip, the supplier pays commission to the agency, typically within 1 to 2 weeks. The agency then matches the booking numbers from the supplier's payout report with those submitted in the CRM. If they match, and everything checks out, the consultant is paid 80% of the commission via ACH direct deposit through QuickBooks Online. Commissions are issued every Friday, as long as the funds were received by Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific Time. Agents usually see their payout hit their bank account within 1-2 business days. And just to clarify, the agency retains 20% to cover back-end support, administrative costs, and the tools you've been given access to. Transparently speaking, this is how the agency makes their money. In upcoming lessons, we'll go deeper into Sherpa, which helps identify visa, vaccination, and travel restriction requirements by country and passport and VoIP phone systems, like Google Voice or Dialpad, which agents use to separate business calls from personal ones, while maintaining a professional caller ID. So now you've seen the big picture from inquiry to payout. In the next lesson, we'll walk you through how to properly complete the credit card authorization form and agreement, step by step, so you know exactly what to fill in, how to protect yourself, and how to avoid mistakes that could delay or jeopardize a booking. When you're ready, go ahead and continue to Lesson 2. Welcome back. This lesson is all about the credit card authorization form and purchase agreement, one of the most important tools a travel consultant uses during the booking process. This form is required by the agency for every single client reservation, and for good reason. It protects the consultant, protects the agency, and outlines clear expectations for the client regarding payment, liability, and policies. By the end of this lesson, you'll understand what the form is, when it should be sent, how to fill it out correctly, why it's legally important, and how to avoid the most common mistakes new consultants make. Let's get into it. So, first things first, what does this form actually do? The credit card authorization and purchase agreement serves 3 main purposes. 1. It authorizes the consultant to charge the client's card to a third-party travel supplier. 2. It confirms the client understands the details of the trip, including pricing, names, dates, and the cancellation policy. 3. It limits liability, meaning the consultant cannot be held responsible if the trip is changed or canceled due to factors outside their control. This form is legally binding. It's what gives you protection in the case of disputes, and it also presents the client with a highly professional booking experience. The form should be sent immediately after the client confirms they're ready to book. If there are multiple credit cards being used for the same booking, for example, if a family is splitting payment, then a separate form must be sent for each credit card. Let's say a $19,000 package is being paid across 3 cards. The consultant must submit 3 forms, each authorizing the amount to be charged on that specific card. This is non-negotiable. 1 form for each card, but it can have multiple charges whose sum doesn't exceed the total on the authorization form. You could have 2 bookings that are getting paid with the same card whose total is $10,000, and you can send 1 authorization form for that card for $10,000, but paid to 2 suppliers at $5,000 each. Let's now walk through how to fill out the form, starting with the agent section. This includes the consultant's name, their brand identity, email and mailing address. A quick note on brand identity. Even though consultants work under the agency's credentials, they are encouraged to create their own brand identity. A name clients will remember, associate with quality, and return to for future trips. This brand identity is white-labeled onto the form, so when the client receives it, it feels personalized and professional. Something as simple as John's Awesome Adventures or Samantha's Majestic Voyages, a clear, consistent name, does help build long-term client relationships. After filling in your information, you must then input the client's first name, last name, and email address as well, so the document will go out for their signature after you complete your end. Submit the authorization form, and you will soon receive an email with the document for signatures. It is now time to begin entering in the following information. Start with passenger information. Passenger names, date of births, genders. The next section is called the brief itinerary description. It's where you put any and all information as it pertains to the trip you're booking for the client. We usually recommend adding the booking's cancellation policy on the third line of this section. It will provide your client with more awareness, even though there is a section in the terms and conditions on the first page that details that the client may be subject to cancellation fees and charges per supplier's terms. Last but not least, add the total authorization amount to the bottom. Remember, this is the amount that is not to be exceeded with all total sums of transactions on that specific credit card. You may have mutable charges, but the sum may not exceed this total for the card being used by the client. When you're done filling in your portions, you may click Save and Finish so that the document is now emailed to your client for their portions to be filled in. The client must fill in cardholder details, credit card number, sign and authorize for payment. Attached to this form is a single-page purchase agreement, which the client must also review when they're going through their signature process. Some of the key points include acknowledgement that they may be subject to third-party cancellation change fees, that the agency is not liable for missed flights, visa issues, or supplier errors, that the consultant is not responsible for dissatisfaction caused by hotels, airlines, or cruise lines, that the transaction is non-refundable and any refunds are subject to the supplier's own policies. This document has been drafted specifically to protect travel consultants from legal risk while still empowering them to offer professional service. Once submitted, the signed form becomes part of the consultant's permanent documentation for that booking. When the consultant submits the document, the system automatically generates a polished, white-labeled version that gets sent directly to the client via email. The client clicks the link, fills in their details, signs digitally, and submits it back. Once complete, the consultant receives an alert and can now proceed to finalize the booking with the supplier. Clients tend to respond very well to this experience. It feels official, organized, and trustworthy. Now let's talk about why this really matters. Without this form, a consultant opens themselves up to potential chargebacks, disputes, and client misunderstandings. If a client later says, "You spelled my name wrong," "I didn't know the trip was non-refundable," "I didn't approve that charge," the form acts as the consultant's protection. Because it shows the exact spelling the client submitted, the amount they approved, and the terms they agreed to. This takes the guesswork and emotion out of the equation and provides legal clarity if a chargeback ever occurs. There's one final note worth mentioning: fraud prevention. The agency has a system in place to detect and prevent fraudulent transactions. If a consultant is working with a brand new client who seems overly eager to book, wants to travel within 2 weeks, or is using a third-party card, they are strongly advised to pause and contact the agency's support team. To repeat, here are the 3 red flags that should trigger your action. 1. The client that you're working with is a new client who is interested in booking for travel within 2 weeks. We call this in the travel industry a last-minute booking. Last-minute bookings by strangers are red flags. 2. The cardholder name and the passenger name does not match. That is considered a third-party card. Third-party cards are also red flags. 3. The client is eager to book, they're not price sensitive. It seems too good to be true. It probably is. That's the 3rd red flag. If any of these red flags come up during the booking process, all you need to do as a travel consultant is email your agency's support team in regards to the potentially fraudulent transaction. If the agency gives a green light and the booking turns out to be fraudulent, the consultant is fully protected from liability. But that protection only applies if the form was submitted correctly and the agency was contacted in advance by the consultant. The credit card authorization and purchase agreement is more than just a form. It's a safeguard for both the consultant and the client. It ensures every booking is processed professionally, legally, and with full transparency. In the next lesson, we'll take a closer look at the CRM system, how it's used to log bookings, track commissions, and keep client relationships organized from first contact to final payment. When you're ready, go ahead and move on to Lesson 3. It's time for Lesson 3. Now that you know how to complete the credit card authorization and finalize a reservation, it's time to talk about where that booking goes and how commissions are actually tracked. This is where the CRM system comes into play. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management, and it's a central tool that travel consultants use to keep everything organized: clients, trips, notes, and most importantly, commissions. In this lesson, we're going to walk you through what the CRM is and what it's used for, how to log a booking correctly, what data is required, and how this system triggers your commission payout. Let's jump in. The agency uses a dedicated CRM to manage all bookings submitted by consultants. The system is customized specifically for the travel industry and for tracking not just trips, but also performance, payments, and relationships. Here's what it does. It stores detailed info about every client you've worked with. It allows you to add and track each individual booking. And it matches those bookings to the commission reports received from suppliers. Without this system, the agency would have no way of knowing who to pay and when. So for you, the consultant, entering your bookings into the CRM is absolutely required to receive your earnings in a timely manner. If your booking is not in the system, your commission cannot be paid out, no matter how successful the trip is. So, when do you enter a booking into the CRM? The moment you've completed the reservation with the supplier and received a booking number, that's your cue. You'll log into the CRM, select the Add Booking option, and enter the details for that trip. Let's now walk through the actual process of logging a booking. Under the trip, select the Bookings tab, then click Add Booking. Here's what you'll need to fill out. Booking number, exactly as it appears on the supplier confirmation. Booking date, the day you finalized the reservation. Tour operator or supplier, for example, Royal Caribbean, Beds Online, or Expedia TAAP. Total package price, the full cost of the specific booking being entered. Total projected commission. This is the amount shown on the supplier's checkout page, usually labeled as Travel Agent Commission. Once entered, the CRM will automatically calculate 80% of that amount, which is what the consultant will earn. The remaining 20% is retained by the agency to support operations, maintain agent resources, and provide the back-end tools and support services that make these bookings possible. After your booking is submitted, you can use the CRM to view the status of every commission that's owed, paid, or pending. When the supplier sends payment to the agency, typically after the client completes their trip, the accounting team enters that data into the CRM on their end. If the booking number matches with the one you submitted, the system will automatically mark your commission as eligible for payout. The agency issues commissions every Friday for all matched bookings received by Friday at 12 p.m. PST. You'll be paid via ACH transfer through QuickBooks Online. When your first commission is ready, you'll receive an email from QuickBooks asking you to securely input your bank details. After that, every Friday is automated. No extra action required from you. If the commission is received on a Monday or Wednesday, you'll get paid that same week. If it's received by noon on Friday, it will also go out that same day, not the following week. This is one of the fastest turnaround times in the industry. Now let's talk about what else the CRM can do, because it's not just about commissions. Consultants can also use it to track where clients are in their journey, from first contact to quote, to booking, to post-trip. Add notes from phone calls or emails so nothing gets forgotten. Review past trip history. Analyze performance trends over time, including total bookings and earnings. The best agents use the CRM daily. It becomes their personal travel dashboard, helping them stay on top of every detail while building better client relationships. And as your client base grows, this tool becomes even more essential. One of the biggest pitfalls for new agents is simply forgetting to enter bookings. Remember, no entry means delayed payout. You won't forfeit your commission, but it surely isn't preferable to wait extra time to get paid out. So make it a habit. The moment you receive a booking number, add it to the CRM. If you're ever unsure about what to enter, the agency provides additional training on the CRM inside the agency portal that walks you through each field with examples. So now you understand the what, the when, and the why of CRM usage, and how it directly connects to your commission payouts. In the next lesson, we'll explore a different kind of tool, one that ensures your clients are properly prepared to travel. We're talking about Sherpa, the agency's recommended tool for checking visa requirements, health protocols, and travel restrictions based on citizenship. When you're ready, go ahead and continue to your next lesson. Greetings! In this lesson, we're going to walk through a simple, powerful tool that consultants use to verify one of the most important factors in international travel, entry requirements. The tool is called Sherpa, and it's designed to help you quickly check visa requirements, passport rules, vaccination guidelines, and any travel restrictions that may affect your client's trip. Whether your client is traveling to Thailand, France, or anywhere else, Sherpa helps ensure they arrive fully prepared and you look like a complete professional in the process. Let's get into how it works. Sherpa is a third-party resource that provides up-to-date travel requirements based on the departure city, the destination, the traveler's citizenship, and the dates of travel. It pulls data directly from governments, border agencies, and international regulations. That means you're not just guessing or relying on blog posts or travel forums. You're getting verified, official requirements. For every booking, the agency recommends consultants run their client's information through Sherpa before finalizing the trip. This gives the client peace of mind and can prevent serious issues, like denied boarding, missing paperwork, or surprise quarantine rules. Sherpa should be used anytime a client is traveling outside of their home country, even if it's a simple trip to Mexico or the Caribbean. Just because a destination is popular doesn't mean it's exempt from passport validity requirements. The best time to use Sherpa is before completing the credit card authorization form, so the consultant can confirm the client is fully eligible for travel and can inform them of any action they need to take. Using Sherpa is very simple. Here's how it works. 1. Go to the Sherpa link provided in the agency's travel agent portal. 2. Enter the departure city, for example, New York. 3. Enter the destination, such as Thailand. 4. Select the citizenship of the traveler, for example, United States. 5. Choose the departure date. 6. Click See Requirements. In just a few seconds, Sherpa will generate a full breakdown that includes visa requirements, passport validity rules, transit rules, if they're flying through another country, COVID testing or vaccination rules, if any still apply, any special forms, apps, or paperwork that need to be completed in advance. Consultants are encouraged to download the results as a PDF or take a screenshot and send it to the client so they have it for reference. Let's say you're booking a honeymoon to Bora Bora. Sounds simple, right? But the travelers are flying from the US to Tahiti, with a 3-hour layover in New Zealand. Without using Sherpa, you might miss the fact that New Zealand requires a transit visa for certain travelers, even if they're not leaving the airport. If the client doesn't have that visa in place, they could be denied boarding in Los Angeles, and the entire trip gets derailed. That's the type of situation Sherpa helps you avoid. With all that being said, it's important to clarify your role as the consultant. You are not responsible for applying for or obtaining visas on behalf of the client. That responsibility lies with the traveler. Your role is to guide the client, using Sherpa to provide information and then pointing them toward the correct embassy, consulate, or online application to complete the visa process. In most cases, Sherpa will include direct links or instructions to help the client get started. by positioning yourself as a helpful advisor, not the one submitting documentation on their behalf. You reduce your liability and maintain clarity in the consultant-client relationship. If a client asks, "Can you take care of the visa for me?" the correct response is, "I can definitely guide you and show you exactly what's required, but for legal and security reasons, you'll need to complete the application directly through the official government website. I'll make sure you have everything you need to do that." Sherpa also checks re-entry requirements for the return leg of the trip. That means if your client is returning to the US, Sherpa will show you any documentation or testing needed for entry back into their home country. While most restrictions have eased globally, there are still a few exceptions, and it's always better to confirm than assume. Clients love Sherpa. When a consultant says, "Hey, I went ahead and ran your travel documents through Sherpa. Here's what you need to be aware of," it builds instant credibility. They feel taken care of, and that's what separates consultants from booking sites. And if a client ever asks, "Do I need a visa for this trip?" you'll have the answer in seconds. No guessing, no Googling, no risk. To wrap up, Sherpa is your go-to tool for making sure your client is clear for takeoff, no matter where they're headed. It keeps you covered, and it gives your client confidence in working with you. In the next lesson, we'll look at something a little more operational: how to set up and use VoIP phone systems, so you can keep your business line professional, separate from your personal phone, and responsive to your clients. Go ahead and continue to the next lesson when you're ready. Welcome to Lesson 5. In this final lesson of the Booking Process and Tools module, we are going to talk about something simple but surprisingly important: your business phone setup. As a travel consultant, you are going to be talking with clients, and while text and email are part of that, a good portion of the relationship is still built over the phone. That is why the agency encourages consultants to set up a virtual phone line that is separate from your personal phone. It is affordable, easy to set up, and it immediately elevates the way you present yourself as a professional. Let us walk through your options, best practices, and how to integrate it into your day-to-day. So why use a virtual phone number instead of just your personal cell? 3 key reasons. Professionalism. You will have a business number that clients can call and recognize. Privacy. You do not need to give out your personal number to dozens of clients. Separation. You can keep business communication and personal communication organized. It sets the tone for the client relationship, and it helps you stay organized as you grow. Let us go over your options. Free option: Google Voice. Google Voice is one of the most popular choices, and it is completely free in the United States. You choose a number, link it to your cell, and start making or receiving calls and texts through the Google Voice app. You can also set your business voicemail, text with clients directly, use your computer or phone to manage communications, mute or turn off business calls during non-working hours. For many consultants just getting started, Google Voice is the perfect starting point. Now, if you want a more robust system, maybe something that integrates with a client management system or allows for team calling, there are paid services like Dialpad or 8x8. These platforms typically run around $15 to $25 per month and offer features like call routing, call recording, text message campaigns, desktop softphone apps, multi-user team management. This is ideal for consultants who plan to scale or want a high-end agency-style phone system. But again, this is totally optional. Google Voice is more than enough to get started, and you can always upgrade later. Here are a few tips for getting started. Set your voicemail professionally. Say your name and let the caller know when they can expect a response. Example: "Hi, you have reached Jessica. Please leave your name and trip details, and I will get back to you within 24 hours. I look forward to helping you plan your perfect getaway." Use a consistent greeting when you answer. Even if you are answering on your personal phone, say, "Hi, this is Jessica. How can I help you today?" Text when appropriate. Many clients prefer text messages for quick updates or reminders. Just make sure your tone stays professional, even in casual messages. Grammar, punctuation, and spelling are absolutely important to the quality you are providing when texting clients. Here is what happens when you use a business number. Clients trust you more. You are not just a name in their direct messages or a text from an unknown number. You are their dedicated travel consultant, someone with a system and a presence. And if a client sees that you have taken the time to set up your tools, your phone, your email, your documents, they will feel confident trusting you with their vacation plans. Remember, perception matters, and how you handle communication is part of what defines your success in this industry. To wrap up, using a virtual phone number is a small move that makes a big difference. It protects your privacy, keeps you organized, and helps you deliver that concierge-level experience clients expect when working with a professional. That brings us to the end of Module 2, Booking Process and Tools. In the next module, we will shift gears into what many consultants say is the most important part of this career: working with clients. You will learn how to build relationships that lead to loyal, repeat business, understand client psychology, ask the right questions, and turn an inquiry into a long-term relationship. When you are ready, move on to Module 3, and let us talk about what really makes great consultants stand out. Welcome to Lesson 1 of the Working with Clients module. In this lesson, we're diving into one of the most essential foundational skills in this profession, the art of the introduction and the power of listening. Every single interaction with a client starts with a moment that sets the tone. This lesson is not about robotic scripts. It's about learning how to genuinely connect with a traveler, ask the right questions, and truly listen to what they're telling you, and even what they're not telling you. Let's get into it. Here's the first thing to understand. Certified travel consultants are not just booking agents. They're relationship builders. And when it comes to relationships, the most successful consultants are not the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who listen best. Listening is not a passive act. It's a skill. And when done right, it creates trust, comfort, and credibility in the eyes of the client. Here's where many people go wrong. They're so focused on what they're going to say next that they miss what the client is actually trying to tell them, and clients can feel that. If a traveler senses that the person they're speaking with is just trying to push a package or get a credit card number, they will pull away, even if they were originally interested. This is especially true in the travel space, where the product isn't a physical item, but an experience. Travel is emotional, it's personal. Sometimes it's even vulnerable. Your job is not to pitch, your job is to understand. Let's break this down practically. True active listening means tuning into the words they're saying, the tone in which they say them, the emotion behind their voice, and even subtle cues like pauses, hesitations, or confusion. You're listening to both what's said and what's meant. Here's an example. A client says, "We're thinking of going to Mexico next summer." I mean, we haven't really traveled in a while, and with the kids, it's always a bit stressful. If you're only listening for Mexico and next summer, you might jump straight to pricing out packages. But if you're listening deeper, you'll hear what's actually there. 1. The need for ease. 2. The concern around traveling with kids. 3. The hesitation that comes with unfamiliarity. That's your signal to respond with empathy and positioning, not just logistics. Let's look at a sample structure you can adapt into your own voice. "Hi, am I speaking with John?" "Great. It's Sarah, your travel consultant. How are you today? I saw that you inquired about a vacation to Mexico next summer. Is that right?" Amazing. You really couldn't have picked a better destination. I'd love to help you plan something memorable. Can you tell me a bit more about the type of experience you're hoping for? Notice a few things here. It's friendly but professional. It shows familiarity with their request. It immediately positions the consultant as a collaborator. And most importantly, it ends with an open-ended question. From there, you listen, let them talk, and take notes, not just about facts, but about feelings. If a client is talking, let them talk. This is not the time to jump in with rates, availability, or suggestions. Instead, listen with curiosity. Be engaged. Ask clarifying questions like, "Tell me more about that." "What did you like or dislike about your last trip?" "Do you have a dream trip in mind, or are you open to ideas?" This creates a sense that the client is being heard. And when that happens, they trust you. Trust leads to bookings. But more than that, it leads to retention. What turns a first-time client into a loyal one? Not deals, not discounts, not clever packages. It's how they feel when they talk to you. If your client walks away from that first conversation feeling like you understood them, like you weren't rushing them or trying to sell them something, they will come back, again and again. They'll refer you, they'll brag about you, they'll wait for you to be available before they book. That starts with listening, at a deeper level than most people are trained to do. Here's what you should take with you from this lesson. Always open with a warm, friendly, low-pressure introduction. Ask an open-ended question and let the client lead the story. Don't interrupt. Let silence happen if needed. Mirror back what they're telling you to confirm you understand. Don't think about the sale. Think about the relationship. And most importantly, listen so well that the client feels like you know them better than they know themselves. That's the secret to becoming more than a booking engine. That's how you become the go-to travel consultant they trust with every trip. When you're ready, move on to presenting flight options, where you'll learn how to search for flights, filter results, and make confident recommendations without overwhelming the client. Welcome to Lesson 2 of this module. In the previous lesson, we discussed how to introduce yourself to clients and build trust by actively listening. Now, we move into the next critical phase. How to present flight options like a professional. Airfare is often the most volatile and stress-inducing part of any trip, for both travelers and agents. Prices change quickly. Seat classes and airline policies are confusing, and clients may already feel overwhelmed before they even reach out. Your role here is to simplify the complex and provide guidance that makes clients feel confident in your recommendations. Flights are not just transportation, they are part of the experience. A smooth, convenient, and reasonably priced flight can set the tone for the entire trip, but a 6-hour layover, red-eye flight, or rigid baggage policy can leave a negative impression before the traveler even arrives at their destination. That's why certified consultants are trained to do more than just find flights. They're trained to curate flight options that match the client's comfort, timing, and budget, and present those options clearly. Let's begin with one of the most powerful tools available to travel consultants: Google Flights. Even though the agency's actual bookings are completed through supplier platforms, consultants are trained to use Google Flights as a search and filter tool. Why? Because of its accuracy, ease of use, and time-saving features. Here's how a professional consultant typically starts. Go to Google Flights. Select the type of trip, round trip, one-way, or multi-city. Enter the number of passengers and class, economy, premium economy, business, or first. Input the departure and arrival airports, and confirm with the client if they have any preference. Input dates, or if the client is flexible, open the calendar to view price trends across the month. This process allows you to quickly assess the best value, flight times, and availability before logging into any supplier portals. It's not just about finding the lowest fare. Professional consultants are trained to avoid the hidden pitfalls that clients may not be aware of. For example, basic economy versus economy. Many airlines show basic economy fares first. These often exclude carry-on bags, seat selection, and are completely non-changeable. Unless a client specifically requests the cheapest possible rate, consultants are advised to present full economy or higher. Baggage policies. These vary wildly between airlines and fare classes. Make sure you double-check what's included and explain it to the client clearly. Airport selection. Many cities have multiple airports. It's important to confirm with the client whether they prefer a specific airport. Example, New York has JFK, LGA, and EWR, each with different advantages. Overnight layovers. Some low fares include long layovers or overnight airport stays. You should only present these if your client is explicitly okay with that. Professional consultants take the time to verify all of this, because presenting a misleading deal can cost more than just money. It can cost trust. Now, let's talk about how to present your research. As a best practice, certified consultants should present a maximum of 2 to 3 options, especially when dealing with air. Too many flight options can create confusion and decision fatigue. Each option should include 1. Airline and flight numbers, 2. Departure and return times, 3. Total travel time, 4. Layovers, if any, 5. Fare class, economy, business, etc. 6. Price per traveler, including taxes. 7. Baggage info, if applicable. 8. Refund or change policy. It's also encouraged to include a sentence of commentary. This option departs early and arrives just before noon, giving you the full day to enjoy your destination. This one is slightly more expensive but is non-stop and includes a free checked bag. Better value overall. That's professional consulting. You're not just sending flight links, you're curating options with purpose. What if the client says, "I saw something cheaper online"? A certified travel consultant doesn't get defensive. They're trained to guide the client through comparison, not argue. The recommended response is, "Thanks for letting me know. If you can, please send me a screenshot of the full checkout page, and I'll take a look." Sometimes the price looks lower at first, but it may not include carry-on bags, transfers, or may even be for a basic fare that's non-refundable or restrictive. And if the client truly found a better deal for the exact same itinerary, that's okay. In many cases, the agency will allow the consultant to match it or adjust commission accordingly to secure the booking. Flight rates can change at any time. That's not a sales tactic. It's a reality of the travel industry. A certified travel consultant is taught to create urgency through transparency. I found a really great non-stop option at a solid rate, but these flight prices tend to shift daily, especially for popular routes. If you're leaning toward this itinerary, I'd recommend we secure it sooner rather than later. If the client isn't ready to book, no problem. Just make a note to follow up soon. We'll cover follow-up strategy in depth. When you present flights professionally, you position yourself as a knowledgeable, thoughtful consultant. You make the process easier for the client. You reduce pricing objections, and you lay the foundation for repeat bookings. The client's flight experience starts before they take off.